Britain and the EU have struck a last-minute deal allowing them to move Brexit talks onto the next phase. The two sides worked through the night to end a deadlock over the status of the Irish border so that negotiations over trade could go ahead.
On the basis of the mandate which was given to me by the European Council, the Commission has just formally decided to recommend to the European Council that sufficient progress has now been made on the strict terms of the divorce.
Theresa May heralded the agreement as hard-won and in the interests of all. She said there will be no hard border in Ireland, and EU citizens in the UK and UK citizens in the EU will see their rights protected.
I very much welcome the prospect of moving ahead to the next phase, to talk about trade and security, and to discuss the positive and ambitious future relationship that is in all of our interests. I've consistently said that we want to build a deep and special partnership with the EU as we implement the decision of the British people to leave at the end of March 2019.
Mrs May then met with European Council President Donald Tusk, who warned that the toughest talks were still to come. The final version of the withdrawal agreement must be ready by next October. Mr Tusk now has to convince the leaders of the 27 other EU member states to back this morning's deal.
State and local police said a gunman fatally shot 2 students at a high school in New Mexico on Thursday, this before he himself died. San Juan County Sheriff Ken Christensen told a news conference the suspect was male. Neither his name nor the names of the 2 students killed was released. The Farmingham Daily Times reported the suspected shooter was a student at Aztec High School. State and local law officials declined to confirm that. Christensen and New Mexico State Police Chief Pete Caceres also declined to say whether the suspect shot himself to death or was killed by officers from the Aztec Police Department.
Slovenian cryptocurrency mining marketplace NiceHash said it lost nearly $64 million in a hack of its payment system, the latest incident to highlight the risks that uneven oversight and security procedures pose to digital currencies such as Bitcoin. NiceHash marketing executive Andrei P. Skraba told reporters that his firm was the victim of a highly professional heist that yielded about 4,700 Bitcoin, worth around $64 million at current prices.
Britain's most powerful warship, HMS Queen Elizabeth, has been formally commissioned in Portsmouth by the Queen. With a price tag of more than €3.5 billion, the new aircraft carrier and its sister ship HMS Prince of Wales are the most expensive in the Royal Navy's history. The monster 280-metre vessel will receive its F-35 fighter jets next year, though it's not set to make its proper first deployment until 2021.
Relentless wildfires continue to ravage Southern California, and new blazes have broken out, further complicating the task of fire crews. As flames hopscotch over highways, the best efforts of emergency services have failed to prevent hundreds of homes being destroyed. Some 200,000 residents have been evacuated. Hurricane-force gusts have whipped up the fires, with no immediate end to the danger in sight.
These conditions, combined with the heat that is now kind of coming to the area, the dryness, the amount of vegetation in some of the areas still that have not burned, makes this still a very threatening environment. So even as you see inroads being made, we are going to have an abundance of caution. We want to make sure you are safe and that we don't order people back to their homes or allow people back to their homes any earlier than possible.
On the front line, a number of firefighters have been injured amid the biggest blazes from Los Angeles up the Pacific coast to Santa Barbara County. And in a new fire north of San Diego, at least 2 people have suffered burns.
Poland's popular Prime Minister Beata Szydło has been replaced. Finance Minister Mateusz Morawiecki has been promoted to the top job. It's the midpoint of the parliamentary term and thought to be the beginning of an anticipated broader government reshuffle. A government spokesperson said the parliament's to vote on a new government at its next session on Tuesday, and any ministerial changes are expected to be announced after that. Despite criticism from abroad, Szydło's Eurosceptic government, in power for 2 years, was one of the most popular in Poland since the 1980s. Analysts put this down to the 1989 collapse of communism, low unemployment, increases in public spending, and a focus on traditional Catholic values in public life. Dramatic changes in Poland's economic policy are not expected. Observers are saying Morawiecki will keep strict control over Poland's finances and economy. It remains to be seen whether Poland changes its relations with Brussels.
The European Commission is at the forefront of global diplomatic reaction to Donald Trump's decision to recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. Trump abruptly reversed decades of US policy on Wednesday with the decision.
President Trump's announcement on Jerusalem has a very worrying potential impact. It is a very fragile context, and the announcement has the potential to send us backwards to even darker times than the ones we are already living in.
Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan predicts Trump's decision will cause trouble in the region. Now, the new approach, whatever I say goes, is what the US does, and this unfortunate and bad speech is going to cause trouble in the region. That's what I think. French President Emmanuel Macron says the decision goes against previous UN resolutions as well as international law. I don't agree with this decision and I disapprove of it because it contravenes international law. It contravenes the resolutions of the UN Security Council, and France will defend its position at the Security Council. UK Foreign Minister Boris Johnson described the move as not helpful in finding a two-state solution to the Israeli-Palestinian problem. The United Nations Security Council will meet on Friday at the request of 8 states out of its 15 members to discuss Trump's decision.
Televidente, momento para outro espaço comercial. Ahora nosso back compilação de deporte.